Hi, James. Well, the first thing that came to my mind when I watched the video for You're Beautiful was, who is so cruel to let that guy strip in the pouring rain when it's freezing cold? Who came up with that idea?
Yeah, that was the director. You know, it seems that most of the videos we do, they're pretty mean to me. And, you know, obviously they had cattle prods to throw me off the cliff at the end of it.
Yeah, you even had some training to do that.
Yeah, just in a swimming pool off a diving board. And that was about, 10 meters. And then the cliff was about 18 meters. So, yeah, the training wasn't very good.
For the outsiders, it might seem that your career goes like a whirlwind. It all happened very fast, but actually it isn't. You've been involved in music for quite a long time.
Yeah, well, I decided I was going to be a musician when I was 14. So, yeah, it's been a long journey. And then, yeah, in England, we put the album out in October. So it's been a long time since it slowly crept in the charts, but it's happened in a really strange and kind of magical way.
Yeah, but let's start at the beginning. When did you decide to quit your job, to take on a manager, to record that album?
Well, I didn't really decide to quit my job. I just happened to have a job, and I always knew I was going to do music. And then after I'd done enough in my job, I just said to them, look, I'm going to go and do what I've always been talking about for far too long. Mm-hmm. And doing that last year in my job, I then started making demos and I met a few people. And then, fortunately, just as I left, I got a manager, and he was the person who could speak for me, go into offices and say, this guy's great.
You go to LA, you go record the album. What was that like?
LA's pretty cool. You know, as a European over there, they kind of enjoy anyone with an accent. So it was made for fun nights out, and I really enjoyed it. It was nice to get out of dreary old London as well, and go somewhere where it's sunny and make something special of the album. Mm-hmm. You even had a very special landlady there, a very famous actress. Tell me a little bit about that. Yeah, that's right. I lived in the Hollywood Hills in Carrie Fisher's house, and I recorded Goodbye My Lover in her bathroom, which is, you know, really... It was just a great place, and it was nice to get out of the studio and do something a little weird.
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me.
I took a look at the credits in the album, and it seems to me that you played a lot of instruments on the album yourself, like the guitar, the piano, the organs. Did you play a lot of instruments?
I do generally, other than woodwind instruments, anything, you know, with keys. So it's just a case of getting to a studio and messing around and seeing what sounds fun. And if I sound dreadful, then we get in someone who can make it sound better.
I'm so hollow, baby. I'm so hollow. I'm so hollow.
Is it difficult to be the only person responsible for an album? I mean, you don't have no real bandmates to turn to for advice when you're working on a song.
Yeah, it definitely puts a lot of pressure on you. I mean, you know, you can't turn around to anyone, and so I spent many nights on my own. You know, Tom, the producer, had gone to bed, and I'd be there at 4 or so in the morning, still listening to a thing, wondering what's right, and not having anyone to ask. And then, you know, kind of weird things that if I told you about what I was thinking about, you'd say, man, get a life.
So long, Jimmy, so long. Though you only stayed a moment, we all know that you're the one.
When I first heard the album, I was in my car, I was driving, and I really got goosebumps. I got like the impression you're not telling stories, you're not making up stuff. It's really something happened to you and you write about it. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, for me, these songs are very personal, and it is a diary. It follows, my life, and I think, you know, I hope perhaps it connects with other people. Maybe they can relate it to their own lives in some way. It's weird being so open, and seeing people connect with it in that way.
Yeah. How would you feel then when you perform live and you see all those people maybe sing along?
It's kind of like standing up with no clothes on to begin with, and mild humiliation. But then they all seem to get involved in some way, and yeah, it's really, really great fun. And as well as that, I also perform with a 5-piece band who come with me, and they give it the ups as well as, you know, and then I kick them off stage and make it miserable sometimes.
One of my favorite songs is Closing Song, No Bravery. I'm sure you expected that I was going to start talking about that. But you wrote that song in 10 minutes. Can you tell me a little bit about the circumstances you were in then?
Yeah, I was in Kosovo in 1999 during the bombing campaign, and afterwards during the peace treaty and during the peacekeeping phase. And it was then that I wrote the song. And I'd been there for a few months, and there was really nothing to imagine or think about. It was just all the ingredients to the song were there, and you know, I had a few minutes on my own and pulled out a guitar, and really, you know, the song just kind of arrived more than was written. It just happens. It's one of those places where if you have anything in you that's kind of creative, you're going to be inspired to do something.
Well, I've heard you're still listed in the army, so it's possible that they call you and say, well, James, we need you, come over here.
I think looking this scruffy, they'll probably just not bother. But and if I do get called back, then I think everyone should get pretty nervous that maybe it's their turn as well.
This is the Music Factory.